Saturday, June 5th, 2021. Kara's asleep in her bed, probably dreaming about chasing squirrels. Listening to music on the television. I have the YouTube Premium or whatever. If you've never seen the movie Out of Africa, it's a lovely movie with Meryl Streep, Robert Redford. It's based on a true story of a woman who had a farm in Africa, and her marriage and her love affair, and anyhow, it's a beautiful soundtrack. I know now to turn the music off because that's a copyright strike for if you have a video, if you're filming a video and you have background music and YouTube recognizes it in 15 seconds or something, then we're not allowed to play other people's music. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Kona is doing well. Huh, buddy? That's the little dog bed. That's Kara's bed, but Kara is in the big dog bed for Kona. So I don't think Kona is very happy about it, but he likes to sleep in that chair anyway. And let's go into the kitchen. I wanted to show, I have a second device. It's a tablet. And because I live alone with animals, I like to hear like a human voice. So I'll just briefly show that. That's Bailey Squad. And it's Vlogmas. It's 17 videos. And so I like turning on someone's YouTube channel and going to their playlist, and then what I'm doing is it's not noise, it's a voice, it's someone's voice. And some people have very pleasant voices, pleasing voices, and then Bailey's got a very distinctive voice and attitude, doesn't she? So anyhow, that helps your watch hours, and I'm not saying that to like pat myself on the back. I'm just saying that I usually like to, like in the old days, you'd turn a TV on to have voices, or a radio. You'd turn a radio on, have music or a talk show or something, and so it's just something that I do. Right now I'm supporting the 4 women. Bailey Squad is one of the 4 women. And by the way, Bailey Squad, on my channel, on the About, there's an email address. If you send me your address, I'm going to send you your gift bag. Shonda got hers. And Bethany and the other lady are getting some. It's Saturday afternoon. I'm exhausted, very tired. Like it's beyond tired. It's exhaustion. I'm still starting on those antibiotics from seeing the doctor at the hospital actually it was this week, wasn't it? So my body is obviously needing a lot of rest, fluids, and the antibiotics that will take care of the MRSA, because this thing is not responding to any of the penicillin, methicillin. I'm trying to figure something out. When I was on YouTube and was participating in so many channels that came from Indonesia, I was called from the herd, and the three women, this one has an asterisk because this is the one who invited me into the group. It was like something gossip group. This is the only man. I was trying to figure out if the man was running the show kind of thing, or if it, I was thinking of Charlie's Angels. You remember Charlie's Angels? There was a TV show from 1976 to 1981, and there was a man, Charlie, and he had three angels, and they were like spies or assassins, or it's typical TV stuff. I'm sure it was Aaron Spelling. And then they revived it in the year 2000 and actually made a movie, and that's with Drew Barry. So I don't know if, I'm not sure what role this one takes in there. But I just want to share my experience that if you're on YouTube and you get a Facebook friend request, it may not all be as innocent as it looks. I know nowadays people have multiple social media accounts, and you guys try to get all these friends, and then you're on Instagram and TikTok, and it's a whole world I don't understand and I'm not familiar with, so I can't really speak on it. All I know is I have one Facebook account, because I'm one person. And what I'm finding out is just like in YouTube, someone will have 17 YouTube accounts, 5 Facebook accounts. What they can figure out when someone wants to compromise you, they go in your Facebook account, and if your date of birth might be in there, and then your family members. And they're from Facebook, they go into Messenger and message you. And from Messenger, you can set up a private group and have private chats, right? Well, it's not really very private at all. What do I mean by compromised? I mean, my credit card has been canceled. I'm talking about Google fraud. I'm talking about fraud. The wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in criminal gain. Okay, the definition of fraud is wrongful or criminal deception. Wrongful deception intended to result in criminal gain. So wrongful deception could be something like, I have no money for food. My children are hungry. My children need medication. Please send us PayPal so that I can feed my children and take them to the doctor. Okay, that isn't true. If the children are not hungry and the children are not sick, that would be wrongful. The deception is in the lie. And the fraud is they intend to have criminal gain, and that is to get your money. Now, there's two different things going on here. YouTube is YouTube. On YouTube, you can make a channel membership and have a loyalty badge and be a member of a channel. You can also do a super chat. And I'll let you figure out what constitutes a super chat, so that if you give someone a super chat, you may not have received it, and that can be money that can be recouped back into your account from Google. Larceny is theft, stealing, or robbery. That's something else. And then I want to talk a little bit about how other channels influence us. I got this book I ordered this book on Amazon. So if I use my credit card and I go to a store like Amazon and I order something and I pay for something and then I receive it, so I've paid $25, ordered a book, now I've got the book, they have my money and I have the book, and that's a very legal transaction. That's a happy transaction. I paid for something, I received it, it's all good. What about when you pay for something and you don't get it? Well, then you go to your credit card company and you say, hey, Amazon, I ordered this book and I never got it. And then Amazon tracks it, and, you know, they figure out that they put the book at the wrong address, or they never sent the book, or the book's on back order or something. And they either give you your money back or they send you another book. And then the customer is happy. So there's a big difference between purchasing something, getting what you paid for. This is a book of poetry, and the author is A.J. Houston. I can't read anything from the book because, you know, I'm not authorized to do that. But I can say that I'm impressed with, if you look at how it has black paper and white writing, it's customary to see black ink on white paper. So this is a switch, and it's a book of poetry. It's quite profound. And then the same author has this 365 days a year, right? And then you have 365 writing prompts. And it says every beginning had to start somewhere. And so it's an interactive workbook. It's me interacting with the book. And I've written things myself, but I've never published anything, and I've never shared my writing with anyone else. I've had a very full life. I worked in the state of California. This is CalPERS, the California Public Employee Retirement System. This is me. If you know anything about California, you know that there's gang activity in California. And I'd like to encourage you to watch a movie. The movie is called American Me. The actor in it is Edward James Olmos, is the actor. And it's about the gangs, the Mexican mafia. Because in the state of California, California is not just isolated, you know. Like, you look at a map of the United States of America and you ask kids to, like, find it on the globe, and they're like, oh, I don't see any country that looks like that. It's because there's a country down here, right? It's not, this isn't water here. This is Mexico. Mexico is down here. They're just showing you Alaska and Hawaii here. So this is not actually what our country looks like. Our country is on this continent over here in North America. See the United States? There's the United States. Now look at this map. See how, like, there's Florida. There's Florida. You've got water here, but look at this. Mexico is going to run along the California, the Arizona, and the New Mexico border. And then Mexico connects here to South America. have Brazil and Argentina. And over here we have Africa. We have Europe. Saudi Arabia. Russia. India. China. Iran. Pakistan. You've heard of those wars, right? Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran. India. There was a famous person came from India, Mahatma Gandhi. He did a nonviolent protest. He led the people of India into a protest to protest not just like the British colonies that ruled in India, but a lot of other injustices. He's quoted fairly often, Mahatma Gandhi. I think because he was a nonviolent protester and they had a successful, I wouldn't call it a revolution, but it was a successful movement. Here's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. My imperfections and failures are as much a blessing from God as my success and my talents, and I lay them both at his feet. So whatever you consider your blessing from God, whether you were given great looks, a healthy body, beautiful hair, nice white teeth, all your successes and your talents, are you intelligent? Are you creative? All the positive attributes that you find in yourself, you know, we give God credit for them, but we also need to see that our imperfections and our failures are just as much a blessing from God. This is a photo that my sister took, by the way. So when you look at a map of the world map, you can see quite easily how we're not isolated. You know, especially now they talk about a global, like a global pandemic or something. But if you look at the map, you see that the United States has a border with Mexico. Now there's no wall there. There's no, like, look at up north. There's Canada. Over here is Alaska. Right? It's all connected. It's one big landmass, and you can draw little lines and say this is Texas and this is Oklahoma, but if you're driving on a highway, you can just drive through here. There's no separation of these states. It's all an illusion. It's just something man-made on a map, because there's North America. And the land goes all the way down here to South America. And then across a body of water is Africa. And then you have Turkey, you have Saudi Arabia, India, Russia. What do you have over here? You have Thailand, right? And then you have Indonesia, Malaysia, Australia. Do you know what the 7 continents are? You know, 7 continents. Well, Australia is a continent. It's a body of land. It's a continent. Iceland, Greenland, Africa, South America, North America. What do you call this big land mass, huh? You call it Russia? Europe? It's all connected. It's all one big land mass. I want to talk a little bit more about Mexico. Sometimes, you know, the colors of your country, your flag, they mean something to you, right? You have the green, the white, and the red. Those are the colors of Mexico. Mexico, right? When I lived in the state of California, and I worked for the Department of Corrections in the state of California, I met many, many members of the Mexican mafia. I saw them on a daily basis and spent hours and hours with them. And there's a pattern of behavior that's typical in some type of organized crime, not a disorganized crime, but more of an organized crime. Did you ever watch the movie The Godfather? It's a very popular movie, The Godfather. Marlon Brando. It's Godfather 2 and 3. So that kind of talks about the Italian mafia. Well, there's also an Irish mafia. And then some people would say that we had a president who was part of a mafia. But, you know, that's speculation. That's allegedly. But crime, when crime is perpetrated, it's usually the men who are in charge, right? You've got the men, and the men use the women to perpetrate crimes. Kind of like Charlie's Angels, right? You know, Charlie gets his good-looking angels, and they do things, find out information. Wonderful little TV series. But the men have machismo, right? You got your foot soldiers or your pawns, got your gentlemen. Musician. And a native guy right there, right? Kind of like a Native American, you know, native to the country. Here's I guess somebody that's drunk. Definitely looks drunk to me. And they have scary images, like, you know, this is supposed to scare you and intimidate you. It's probably death or machete or something. You know, it looks like a big machete, a big scythe they use in the fields to cut long crops. This is the devil, Diablo. He's red, he's got horns, that's the pitchfork, that gives that one away. Sometimes you need to make a web to catch a bug in this net, right? You have the spider make the web, and the spider waits quietly off in a distance and waits for the insect to fly into the web. And then it's wrapped in the web and it dies and then is eaten. This is just what you look like after your skin, your hair, your muscles are gone. You end up with a skeletal remain, bone remains. I was thinking about the game of chess. I was at a trivia pursuit thing, and they named the pieces of a chessboard. Name the pieces used in the game of chess. You got the king, the queen, the pawns, the rooks, the bishop, right? Depending on how powerful you are is how you move on the chessboard, whether you can move forward diagonally 2 steps forward and 1 to the right, or you can only go 1 step at a time. Chess, very interesting game. Do you recognize this creature? It looks like a scorpion. Scorpions are born in the month of November. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio female. There's your heart. Very interesting organ, the heart. Here's fishing. Fishing is interesting. You put bait on a hook and you wait for the fish to come, right? You just bait the hook, and if you use the right kind of bait, you might get a fish interested and come nibble at your bait, and then you snap the line and get the hook deep in their mouth. Sometimes baiting is you put a lot of chum in the water. You throw a whole lot of dead fish, guts and blood, and you chum up the water and you get a feeding frenzy, right? You get a whole lot of fish come for a feeding frenzy. That's how they fish for sharks. But who's the fisher and who's the fisherman? And what is the bait? Was I the bait or was I the fish? Throughout centuries, men have utilized women. You've heard of the pimp and the prostitute, right? Why don't the prostitutes just go out and do their own business? Well, somehow or another they feel safer. They need the protection of the pimp. You know, the pimp usually, I think, persuades them that he's in love with them, or they're the only one, or something. There was a movie about that too. Was that called Taxi Driver? Is that a Robert De Niro movie where he falls in love with the young gal and kills her pimp? I mentioned to you about California, Mexico, United States. There's an island in Southern California. There's a city called San Diego, south of LA. San Francisco, you got San Francisco, Los Angeles, and then San Diego. Hey, not on the bed. Go lay down. And there's a bridge that connects from San Diego to Coronado. It's called the Bay Bridge, right? San Diego Bay Bridge. You pay money, you pay a toll to go across. But on the island of Coronado is a military installation. Naval Air Station, North Island, NAS, North Island, Norris. It's where the SEALs train, the Navy SEALs. You've heard of them. They made movies about them from time to time. Very special individuals that make it through SEAL school. And then they have the SERE, the search, evasion, rescue, SEER school. Familiar with that? These young men are a special breed of men. They're like psychopaths. They can withstand and tolerate more pain than any human being. They can withstand and override the impulse of pain that the central nervous system is flooding their body with, and they just keep going. They don't stop. Did you see that movie? They wrote a book and then they made a movie about the guy, the Navy SEAL guy. Who was it that played him? Was it like Marky Mark? He used to be known as Marky Mark. Can't think of the name right now. I think this was over in Afghanistan is where this story took place. But they had a helicopter and they had the SEAL team and they had dropped the SEAL team off and they were doing their reconnaissance mission, blah, blah, blah. They got discovered. Everybody got killed except for him. And so then they sent in another helicopter of men to come rescue him because you don't leave a man behind. You know, not when they're important men. And a SEAL team member is very important. These are people that, you know, the president knows who they are. These are men who are willing to die for their country. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Just some pearls. Talking about maps. This is what you think it looks like. This is what it really looks like. It's really connected to this. And across the water is there. And over here is Indonesia and Malaysia. Look how small that is. Like the Hawaiian Islands, you know. You can't even see the Hawaiian Islands on the map. French Polynesia. So you have to leave the